saw a headline, Britain as ungovernable. It's a kind of extension of the Britain is broken thing. Yes, we know Britain is broken, Britain is ruined, Britain is finished. Oh my God, we hear it all the time. It doesn't matter whether you're on the New Culture Forum or GB News or, you know, the newspapers or just the online YouTube brigade of so-called news analysts. Britain is broken, and now Britain is ungovernable. Ungovernable. Are you ungovernable? Are you ungovernable? Well, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But remember, if you are not prepared to be governed in some way, then don't expect anyone else to be governed. And therefore, we have a kind of anarchy. And anarchy is quite a dangerous thing. It means that you can't really leave the house. It means that your kids can't go to school. And it means you can't drive on roads from A to B safely, because there is just sort of chaos and people driving around without licenses going mad. So we're not ungovernable, are we? But this is just the way it goes. It's all part of the art of noise that's happening online. We know that the online bubble is completely different from the real world. We know that because you sit at your desk and you doom scroll, and you kind of get this feedback from here and there, and the noise is off. You read that you are ungovernable. You read that you are broken. You read that the world is chaos. You read that the end times are here. And you get lost in that world of paranoia. You know, the Andrew Tates, the Russell Brands, the News 8. It doesn't matter where you go. It's all the same. It's the art of noise. It's all a process of monetizing, getting subscribers. None of it's real. And we know that because as soon as we step out of our front door, we know the world is a very different place. People are just going about their business. It wouldn't matter if this was a kind of cult thing. And I guess it used to be a cult thing. There would always be people on the extremes. There'd be the religious nutters, you know, who would walk up and down Oxford Street with a placard saying the end is nigh. I mean, he was the guy who did that for 20 years, who walked up and down Oxford Street with a placard saying the end is nigh, with bare feet. You know, he was the nutter of London. And now, 20 years later, we're all like that. We've all become crazy. We're all flat earthers to some extent or another. This is just because we've been absorbed by the hysteria of it all. We are ungovernable. We are broken. We keep getting told we are. And we are now believing that society is broken. It is ungovernable. But of course, it's just part of the art of the noise. That's all it is. And the thing is, that when it was just the one guy on Oxford Street who was walking up and down barefoot saying the end is nigh, then that was okay. But now everything is like that. Now everybody is saying the end is nigh, and everybody is being dramatic and hysterical and weird and crazy in order to monetize their channels, in order to monetize their news stations, in order to sell their papers, in order to take advantage of the kind of collapse of culture, then it's kind of quite serious problem we've got, isn't it? Because we used to have people who we could trust, who were above the fray. That was most people. And particularly I'm talking about the sort of journalists who we might trust, who were above the fray. You know, you'd have people like David Icke or Andrew Tate or Russell Brand. They'd be on YouTube spouting out their kind of pseudo-political conspiracy nonsense. And then we'd have they'd be kind of the laughing stock, and then we'd have trusted individuals. Unfortunately, what's happened is that those so-called trusted individuals have, in a way, sort of betrayed their trade, and they've gone online and they're as crazy as anybody else. And they've been attracted there by money. I'm talking about people like John Sopel, Emily Matis, Owen Jones, Amol Rajan, you know, Rory Stewart, Alistair Campbell, George Galloway, Marina Hyde, basically everybody. I've just given a few names that I can think of, you know, from my bubble. But I'm sure you've got your own, and of course they've gone online because everybody has to have their own TV station. Everybody thinks they can monetize their own television station now. And so they have forgotten about what their values and what their purpose was, and they've joined in a world of tittle tattle where they have to shout as loud as anybody else to be heard. And that's why you will get somebody like Marina Hyde, who previously was a kind of respected journalist for The Guardian, who used to do very kind of funny, witty political parody, which was an ancient art of sort of subversive commentary on idiotic government. And now what's she done? She's replaced that with a entertainment podcast on YouTube, and no doubt is getting paid very well for it. Owen Jones is sort of going down the rabbit hole, having left journalism really, and Amal Rajan, a fantastic broadcaster, has decided that he wants to get a slice of this action, and who knows what will happen to him. And it's not just the journalists, of course, all the comedians are doing the same. I've noticed that Harry Hill's just started his own show on TV, on YouTube, and fair enough, but that's where everything's going. But remember, when you end up on there, you have to produce, if you're in the political arena, you have to produce the kind of hysterical nonsense like Britain is ungovernable, because you are in there fighting to the death for your subscribers. And remember, these people are being paid $1 million a year. They're no longer on sort of BBC salaries, which chicken feed in comparison. Hearing for a long time now, haven't we, how Starmer is doomed. Starmer is on his way out. Starmer is finished by Tuesday. Starmer will be gone by lunchtime Thursday, and of course Starmer is still there. And this kind of hysterical sort of dislike, bordering on hatred, almost a disgust about Starmer is actually, I think it's just a result of the kind of culture we're living in now. I mean, Starmer is a bit boring. He's not exactly charismatic. But remember, this is the sort of guy who we were praying for during the Tory years, when they were having a prime minister every 3 months, most of whom were absolutely useless. And, yes, he's not really a politician in that sense. He's not very clever at the game necessarily, but, would you trust him to look after your dog for a weekend? And the idea is, yes, you would. And he has got some integrity, but he is going down the same path as Corbyn in terms of becoming the fun figure to vilify online in order to get subscribers, in order to monetize your channel, in order to fill newspaper pages. And it's all just a kind of hysteria. If you don't believe me, walk out of your house now and go for a little walk around the block and just have a little feel about the ambience. Yeah, the hysteria isn't there. Okay, it's just part of this online bubble. So yeah, Britain is not broken. Britain is not ungovernable. Starmer is not on his way out. It's all old news, okay? And this is the problem. How many times have you been online, maybe picking up what's going on, and you've had a look at a kind of YouTube upload and it said uploaded 3 hours ago, and you thought, oh, that's old news, I'm not going there. I want something that was uploaded 6 minutes ago, or I want something that was uploaded or is live. Now only live will do. There's no time to digest anything. Nothing that happens will have any meaning within a day, if not half a dozen hours. And I'm talking about things like, if aliens were found, yeah, there'd be hysteria, but it would soon die away. It's just the world we live in, so nothing matters anymore. It doesn't matter if the Prime Minister of the UK ran around naked in Parliament. He would just, it would be fantastic. Starmer must go because he's a naturist. But, within a couple of days that would have moved on and gone. So nothing matters. Everything is steam. We're all just part of a culture of vapour. So all the dignity is gone. These great journalists who used to work for major news organisations have now decided that they've got to throw their hat into the YouTube ring, and so this is where they will ply their trade. And in order to ply their trade online, they will have to say things like Britain is ungovernable. Britain is broken, just like the rest of them, just competing, just part of that art of the noise. And we get dragged into it and we think it's normal, we think it's real. But in my opinion, it's absolutely not. And no, I'm not going to suddenly start talking about how you should sign up for Octopus Energy like they do on some of the heavyweight political YouTube channels. Yeah. When you're just sort of listening to a bit of analysis and suddenly one of them just sort of starts seamlessly talking about how wonderful Octopus Energy is and how you should consider moving to them, or maybe that you should download NordVPN and make sure that you are secure. NordVPN, well, that's a good idea, isn't it? Because the government are now thinking of trying to make NordVPN illegal, or any VPN illegal, because people are bypassing, for example, the ban on pornography. It's very difficult. How do we, we pick and choose what we want to listen to despite the hysteria, because we kind of enjoy it. We enjoy having our prejudices reinforced, and so obviously that's quite satisfying, isn't it? And also we enjoy drama, we enjoy hysteria, we enjoy disaster and catastrophe, and dare we admit it, sort of death. And that's what kind of gives us a sort of visceral feeling that we're kind of alive and that we're in the game. No wonder Starmer doesn't get much sort of political traction these days. He doesn't provide any of those things. Boring old sod. So it is nice to, if you're enjoying that, that's great. If, however, it's making you feel ill, then there is something to be said for actually just switching the whole thing off. And then, of course, you're left with the problem of, what shall I believe in? What do I believe? Where do I stand on anything? And as I've said before, I think it's a good idea to actually stand on nothing, to have no beliefs. No point. What's the point of having these sort of ideological, dogmatic beliefs? Where is it getting you? Where's the evidence for any of it? We know that things are not ever black and white. So when you see headlines like Britain is ungovernable or broken, or, you won't believe this, well, you will believe it. And what you should believe is that these kind of hysterical headlines are simply the job of the market trader to attract people to his market stall and to get people to buy his rotten apples